The Zephyrian delegation materialized on the bridge of the UES horizon in a shimmer of violet light, their crystalline forms refracting the ship's ambient lighting into dancing rainbows across the walls. Captain Sarah Chen stepped forward, her hand extended in the universal gesture of greeting, though she knew the aliens wouldn't understand the significance. "Welcome aboard," she said, her voice steady despite the magnitude of this moment, humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization. The lead Zephyrian, whose crystalline structure pulsed with deep amber hues, regarded her with what she assumed was curiosity. When it spoke, the words came not as sound, but as direct neural transmission, bypassing language entirely, primitive carbon-based life forms. "How quaint that you've managed basic space travel." Captain Chen maintained her diplomatic smile, though. The condescension was unmistakable. Through the neural link, she could sense their amusement, like adults watching children play with blocks. "We are the Zephyrian Collective," the being continued. "We have observed your species for some time. Your technology is rudimentary. Your mathematics, elementary, yet you show potential for basic servitude roles within our empire." The bridge fell silent. Chen's crew exchanged glances, their faces a mixture of indignation and disbelief. Humanity had just achieved faster-than-light travel, established colonies across 3 star systems, and solved the energy crisis with fusion technology. Rudimentary? "I appreciate your assessment," Chen replied carefully. "Perhaps we could demonstrate some of our capabilities. We'd be honored to learn from such an advanced civilization." The Zephyrian's form brightened with what seemed like amusement. "Very well. We shall present you with a simple puzzle, one our younglings solve for entertainment. If your species can decipher it within one of your planetary rotations, we may consider you worthy of basic labor contracts." With a gesture, the alien projected a holographic display into the center of the bridge. Complex geometric patterns swirled in 3-dimensional space, shifting and morphing in seemingly random sequences. Mathematical symbols from no human language drifted between the shapes, pulsing with alien logic. "This is a 9th-tier consciousness cipher," the Zephyrian explained. "It represents the fundamental mathematical relationship between thought, reality, and dimensional space. Your primitive binary thinking should find it challenging." The display continued its hypnotic dance, and Chen could feel the weight of her crew's expectations. Earth's greatest minds had taken years to decode the Zephyrian greeting signals that had first announced their presence. This puzzle looked infinitely more complex. "We accept your challenge," Chen said, gesturing to her science officer. "Dr. Rodriguez, please begin analysis." Lieutenant Commander Maria Rodriguez stepped forward, her dark eyes already analyzing the patterns. Behind her, the ship's AI core hummed to life, directed by Chief Engineer Yuki Tanaka's rapid keystrokes. The Zephyrians settled into what appeared to be meditation poses, their crystalline forms dimming as if preparing for a long wait. Through the neural link, Chen caught fragments of their thoughts. 24 hours for basic pattern recognition. Generous. Perhaps 36 hours before they admit defeat. Rodriguez called up the ship's most advanced analysis software, but instead of relying solely on the AI, she did something the Zephyrians hadn't expected. She called for human intuition. "Jenkins, you're our music specialist. These patterns, do they remind you of anything?" she asked the communications officer. Ensign David Jenkins tilted his head, studying the display. "Actually, yes. It's like a fugue, but in mathematical space. See how this pattern introduces a theme, then this one develops it. And this creates a counterpoint. Tanaka, what about the dimensional relationships? The engineer's fingers flew across her interface. If I treat these as folding patterns rather than flat mathematics, like origami in 11 dimensions, what followed was uniquely human, a chaotic, intuitive approach that combined artistic interpretation with mathematical analysis, emotional pattern recognition with cold logic. The team didn't just analyze the cipher, they felt it, interpreted it, played with it. Rodriguez began seeing the mathematical symbols not as alien equations, but as emotional expressions. Jenkins treated the geometric shifts like musical phrases. Tanaka approached the dimensional aspects like an engineering problem, not how the universe worked, but how to make it work better. 3 hours in, they started finding patterns. 6 hours in, they identified the core relationship between consciousness and mathematical reality. 8 hours and 37 minutes after the Zephyrians had presented their simple puzzle, alarms began chiming throughout the ship. The holographic display suddenly crystallized into a perfect, elegant solution, and then began showing something more. The cipher wasn't just solved, it was improved. The human solution revealed optimization pathways the original designers had missed, efficiency improvements that reduced the computational load by 30%. The Zephyrian delegation's forms blazed with shocked amber light. Impossible came. The mental transmission, no longer condescending, but tinged with something approaching panic. This cipher took our greatest minds 2 orbital cycles to develop. How did you... Pattern recognition, Rodriguez explained simply. Music theory, engineering principles, and emotional intuition. We don't just solve problems, we reimagine them. Captain. Chen stepped forward, her diplomatic smile now carrying a different weight. Your technology is impressive, and we'd be honored to establish trade relations, but perhaps we could discuss terms as equals rather than as potential servants? The lead Zephyrian's crystalline form flickered rapidly, their equivalent, Chen realized, of nervous fidgeting. Through the neural link, she caught fragments of rapid communication between the delegation members. Unprecedented cognitive flexibility. Dangerous implications? Must recalculate threat assessment. We may have underestimated your species' potential, the alien finally admitted. Your approach to the cipher was entirely novel. How did you develop such chaotic methods of analysis? Chen's smile widened. We call it being human. We don't just think with our minds. We think with our hearts, our intuition, our art, our music, our dreams. Your cipher was mathematically perfect, but mathematics isn't the only language of the universe. The Zephyrian delegation exchanged rapid light pulses before their leader spoke again. We propose a research partnership. There are ciphers throughout the galaxy that have remained unsolved for millennia. Perhaps your unique approach might prove valuable. Now that, Chen said, sounds like the beginning of a beautiful friendship. As the negotiations continued, word of humanity's cognitive breakthrough spread through Zephyrian space at faster-than-light speeds. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations began to reconsider their assumptions about the strange, chaotic, impossibly creative species that had just announced itself to the cosmos. The humans, it seemed, didn't just solve problems, they transformed them into art.